Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge, joined by Ben Foster. Had a good Christmas, Ben?
Yeah, did. Lovely. You?
Yeah. Not in a footballing sense, but in a family sense.
A festive sense, yeah, it was good, yeah.
Apart from, obviously, the result against Nottingham Forest yesterday. I want to get into that. I mean, I actually was thinking about what can we talk about on this show before the Forest game. I was thinking, well, you know, will Ten Hag be here in this time next year, etc. But before we get into that, I suppose we've got to talk about yet another loss for Manchester United. You were just saying there, they've lost half the games this season.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on United? And to those United fans who are saying he needs to go?
Yeah, I get it. They've lost 14 out of the 28 games so far this season. Performances they're so hit and miss. They're so hit and miss. You know, against Forest yesterday, I was watching this thinking, you can see Forest just want to work harder. They want to work harder and they want it more than what the United players want it. The Villa game, first half, was just, wow. I was blown away by how bad they were. Second half, obviously different story, but that's what I'm talking about, the hit and miss is you can't have a first half of absolute abjectness and then have a second half of all singing or dancing. It's, you know, you're going to lose so many games doing it that way, and that's just kind of symptomatic of United's season in general, I think, so far. You just do not know what you're going to get against them. So you get the fantastic second half performance against Aston Villa, and then you go and get that away performance against Nottingham Forest. But I do think United struggle when they come up against a ferocious crowd and they come up against a team who just want to outwork them. I think United lose most of them games.
Yeah, you're right. And from a defence, from a goalkeeping point of view, you look at those goals yesterday. It amazes me the amount of space Manchester United give up. And I remember going 1-0 up at Arsenal, so it would have been August. Yeah. And within a minute, you know, I think it was Odegaard, edge of the box, shooting. I mean, as a goalkeeper, if you're up against Premier League players with time as well, that's the thing. They've got time. Like, Gibbs White's got time to whip that around.
They both have. Dominguez has got time for the first goal as well, but they're both kind of the same sort of goal, really, aren't they?
They're picking up the runners.
They're both sort of counter-attack goals, and United just they want to commit players forward. But then when you do that, you have to know that if you lose the ball, you've got to get back and get back with serious pace as well. You've got to be careful with how many you push forward in the first place, especially when you're away from home. But you've got to get back, and the fact that both players, both goals, they've got time to really sort of pick where they want to put it. The goalie can't do anything. He's blinded by both of them. The first one, he's got to keep his near post space and he cuts it back across. And the second one, he uses, I think it's Johnny Evans as a kind of a block basically, and he just curves it round. It's a lovely finish from Gibbs White, but still, the fact that they're arriving on the edge of the 18-yard box, arriving on the penalty spot, and they've got time to... They could have taken a touch as well. They could have taken a touch, but they got it off first time. That's worrying. That's, if you give any team in the Premier League chances like that, they're going to score some of them.
I think you could run a compilation back on the goals we've conceded this year, and most of them will be from crosses or people unmarked.
Counter-attacks are just criminal, mate, honestly. You'll very rarely see Man City concede a counter-attack goal. And we're talking about technically one of the best teams in the country, in the world, that they know that when they're going forward and they're attacking, they know that if they do, for whatever reason, lose the ball, they shell it back, mate. I mean, shell it back. It's like, abandon everything, forget about the ball. Tony Pulis used to teach us to do it, honestly. We lost the ball, it would be, forget the ball for a second, right? Just run back, sprint back, in fact. Get back as fast as you possibly can. And I just don't see that same urgency with Man United.
No, it's a recipe for disaster, really, when you think about the amount of times we get countered, the amount of space everyone gets in the box. And that's because we're committing people forward, and we're one of the lowest scores. It doesn't make... It's an absolute recipe for disaster. We're committing players forward, but we're not scoring, because that means we're crap on the ball.
Well,
all these players are up there, we don't know what to do with it.
The ability...
We're better off just sitting deep.
The players that Man United have got at their disposal at this moment in time probably aren't good enough to warrant being just pushed forward. Do you know what I mean? You can't... If you're unbelievable at attacking and unbelievable technically and you can carve teams open, then you could understand it. But United aren't that team and they haven't got them players. So I don't know why they think they can just go gung-ho like that at times and attack. It's not the Ferguson era anymore. They haven't got those sort of players. So the game plan, I think, needs to be looked at a little bit.
Well, it's a complete contrast when you think about it, because last season we won the Golden Glove, which is obviously the most clean sheets. Won a lot of games by one goal here and there, and didn't really concede that many. I think the 7-0 at Liverpool, and there was a couple of poundings, but in majority we didn't concede many. Whereas this season, it's almost like Ten Hag's just changed his idea and what he wants to do. He's gone ultra attacking, which leaves us conceding crappy goals, but we don't score goals. Whereas last year it was a tight unit who used to nick a goal.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, well, if you watch any of United's games, right? What is their style of play? Can you honestly say? Can you pick anything out? Jamie, can you pick anything out? Can you pick out a style of play for Man United? No, not really. No, everybody's the same. Mate.
Well, it's transition, isn't it? Which I think is basically trying to kick a ball in behind for Rashford or Anthony to run onto when Nottingham Forest are going to play a low block.
Wow.
That's never going to work.
No, it's never going to work.
It must be so easy to play against as well. Really, I'd say to my team, keep it tight, don't get caught on the break, and then we'll catch them on the break. There'll be space.
When you get a chance, go for it. Properly go for it, because you'll find those little pockets. You can arrive late. You can arrive into the 6-yard penalty spot, edge of the box, and you'll get a chance. And that's, I think, the most worrying bit of all of it is Ten Hag was brought in to play a style of football, this sort of Dutch passing, playing out from the back, and we need a goalie who can do that. And I don't see Onana starting stuff out from the back. I don't find him like playing it into little pockets here and there. I see him doing a lot of diags. I see a lot of big diags onto Rashford or out onto the other wing to Anthony. But I don't see much build-up play starting from the back. The only time you ever see it from United is when the opposition let them have it. When you see Johnny Evans stood there with the ball trying to get it into midfield or something, but it's not overly forced playing out from the back. So again, I like I say, I don't really know what the game plan is.
And obviously, as we were saying just before we started, Aston Villa don't play a low block; they play a high line.
Really high line.
Actually, you look at it, Man United, that's probably the one team they can play well against because Bruno can dink those little balls in.
Yeah.
And
Rashford can get in. The quick ones can get in. I mean, you give any of those players real time on the ball, real space to run into. They're going to hurt you. They're Premier League players. They're Manchester United players. But there's not many teams that are going to afford you that luxury of time and space in behind them.
And why would you do it against United? Some people are saying that Ten Hag's got to go. Some of his comments after the game, defending, bringing McTominay on, who clearly gave away 2 goals, and the results are, as we've spoken about. Would you do it? Would that be the right thing to do? I mean, it's justifiable in relation to results, but is that really? I mean, thinking about who's available, the sheer volume of problems at United, they haven't got 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 million pounds to spend.
Yeah, there's no point. There's no point in doing it. There's no point. I think with the new ownership that's coming in, I think I actually really like the appointment of Dave Brailsford. I really, really do. I think
that's because you like cycling.
Well, yeah, exactly. I look at it from what he did for
Cycling GK.
Yeah, the Cycling GK. I look at it from what he did for British Cycling, and when he went into British Cycling, they hadn't won anything in years. They were a very abject team. They were just sort of like getting by, and he completely changed it all, completely revolutionised it all. He said basically, where we might have 50 cyclists, all of you are okay. He said, we don't want that anymore. We're going to put all of our funding into making sure the elite, the top 7, 8, 9, 10 are the good ones. We'll get money behind you, but the other 40, if you're not good enough or you don't hit the times that we want you to do, then you're out. Done. Simple as that. No more funding. And everybody stepped their game up. It's as simple as that. Everybody stepped their game up. And I'm thinking if he can start to implement that into Manchester United a little bit, just to get the levels higher, just to get the bar, the minimum that you can expect from players, that bar just to be higher all the time, I think he could do something really special with that Man United team, because at the minute it just seems to me that they're all just happy to pick their wages up.
Do you think he can do it with those players though? Because some of them, I'll name players that I like because I feel it's unfair to just mention McTominay or whoever. Yeah. So with like a Bruno Fernandes and a Marcus Rashford, who I like both of, but let's be honest, they've been part of they were here for Ollie's sacking, Ranić. I mean, Rashford was here for Mourinho's sacking. Yeah. So those players are 26, 28.
Yeah.
Are they? Can you get more out of those players? And
yeah.
Why has it not happened before?
It's obviously there's a lot of differences between cycling and even sort of other sports like that as to football. I think football is a law unto itself sometimes. It's a completely different ball game, literally. But I think for me, what Dave Brailsford will try to do is get a few real honest people in first. Yeah. Real honest, hard-working to sort of set the ground rules, real dominant characters, you know what I mean?
Players as well.
People and players and people around the place, just to really sort of let people know that you just can't get away with this anymore. You know what I mean? You're not allowed to just get away with it.
Someone like Cristiano Ronaldo would have been good.
People, workhorses I want, all right? I want real kind of leaders, like real men as well. And then once you get a few of them splattered in there, that's when you can start to forgo the little bit of some of the players that don't necessarily want to put the work in. That, you know, you're allowed. You might allow for 2 players maybe who have got the flair and the ability and the skill, and you can just go and win us a game. I know you're not going to be able to work back, but just go and win us a game. That's when you can allow those sort of players. United have got loads of them players that don't want to put the work in, but they want to go and win the game for you, and that's the problem with them.
And with Ten Hag, if I said to you this time next year we're sat doing this video, is he in charge? Because you're into Christmas next year then, you know, you've got the rest of this season, next season. Do you think he will be here?
Gosh knows. Nobody could tell you the answer. Nobody knows football. You never know. You could wake up tomorrow and he could be sacked, and nothing would surprise you anymore, would it? That's the way football goes for me. You just don't know anymore. So
I see. I'd be disappointed with that, waking up tomorrow and he's been sacked, because I'd go, well, here we go again. Players are empowered.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Manager isn't part of the review.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, if they're gonna do this review. And they might go, you know what, he ain't the guy, he ain't got the personality, but do it in the summer.
Yeah.
And also have somebody else lined up.
Yeah. I think summer's it's going to happen in the summer anyway, because realistically, are United going to get Europe this season? Are they going to finish in those places? No. So there's no point really trying to change too much right now. It's kind of assess things between now and the end of the season. You've got a good 6 months ahead of you. And then really try and, you know, like the government always say that, root and branch. Let's do a root and branch. That's what they need at Man United, basically. They need it from the very top to the very bottom to the very top again. And that's when they need to do it, really. But doing anything now is just, it's not going to work.
How far off do you think Man United are? Just because we're going into a new year, and I know we don't normally do this every week, but, you know, you look at that United side, how far off do you think they are, just, you know, even from like a Liverpool, Arsenal, who are competing with Man City?
Oh, miles away from them at the minute. Really, really, really far away from them at the minute.
Do you think it's a quick fix, though? Do you think you could buy 2 players and everything's fine, or do you think this is going to take...
No, if you bought 2 real honest players, good players, then it would help things dramatically. But everybody wants those 2 players, mate. Everybody does. And if they're real good players as well as real good people, then there's better teams more equipped to get them than what Man United are. So I don't see it as a quick fix. It's a tough place to be as a Man United fan.
You know what I look at then when you just said that? I just thought, you know what? Brighton played really good football, so you know you're getting a player that can play good football. You also know you're getting a good mentality, because at Brighton there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
And Alexi McAllister left there to go to Liverpool in the summer. It's been a revelation. I think that type of signing is where Man United, when you look at Onana and you look at Mount and you look at, I mean, a lot of people will say Anthony, the recruitment's got to be so much better. And, you know, you look at Jadon Sancho. I mean, I said to you, do you have a good Christmas? I bet Jadon had a good Christmas. Sat there fucking, what party are we going to tonight? Oh, I'm on EAF. Don't worry, I've got all night. I've got no training tomorrow. I mean, like, fucking hell, he's been there for 3 months, sat on his arse. I mean, someone's got to look at the recruitment and go, these people, they're on serious money as well. We've paid serious money, and they're on serious money, and we've got a player who's sat there having the better Christmas than all of us.
Mate, I can't believe that's just clicked in your head, like that's like you've just remembered. Oh yeah.
Well, I forgot about him. Yeah.
That's the way Man United are. Like, say, if they signed those good players, like
he'd be on more wages than most of the Luton first team
without
combined.
Doubt.
What would you be on at Luton? 20, 30,
Jadon Sancho, no chance. Not at Luton. Jadon Sancho probably earns more than the whole team put together. He will. He will be on more than the whole.
Well, he's
team
on
put
about
together.
$350 a week.
Oh, he's definitely on more than the whole.
What did you get at Luton then?
Oh, Luton aren't paying big money. No, not even 20, mate. I bet you. Yeah, I bet
you were on more than Wrexham.
But I bet you, honestly, they'll be on maximum 10 grand a week or something. Seriously, yeah. Luton won't be big payers or anything like that.
But I'd take all of them over Sancho. At least they're not playing FIFA.
Yeah, but the reason why they're picking up results and they're doing okay is because they work hard. Yeah. They're a team and they want to put a shift in. That's what I mean. If you can sign the likes of McAllister don't want to sign for Man United. He don't, because he knows what he's joining. Whereas he joins a Liverpool, and you know, I went to watch Liverpool a few weeks ago, right? I went to watch against Arsenal, and not one of them players would throw a strop. Not one of those players would just walk around the pitch. I was talking to some Liverpool friends that I went with, and I said, "Could you imagine like Anthony Martial playing for Liverpool?" And he went, "No." I went, He would never play for Liverpool, would he? But no chance.
Can you imagine
Jurgen Klopp? He said Jurgen Klopp would never sign a player like that for one, but never allow any player to walk around the pitch. And I was like, yeah, no shit.
Do you think there's any player from Man United that would play for Liverpool?
Not really. I really don't think.
I do think Klopp would be interested in someone like a Casemiro or a Varane because of what they've done. But I don't think you'd go anywhere near a Bruno or a Rashford because they just wouldn't. No. They're not consistent enough.
Yeah, no.
And I don't think they're technically good enough to play possession-based football.
I think even Jurgen Klopp wouldn't sign a Casemiro or a Varane though, because I think they're of an age where Liverpool have gone through this transition stage, haven't they? They're at the top of the league for a reason. They've gone through a transition stage where it probably took them a year, but they invested really good money into really good people and really good players, and now you're starting to see the benefits of it.
I think the only players he'd take would probably be Mainu, Garnacho, Højlund, on the potential that I could grab hold of them and take them to a level because they're 18, 19, 20.
Possibly. It would all come down to character. He'd need to know what they're like as people first and foremost.
Yeah,
he knows they're decent players, but are they good teammates? Are they good in the dressing room? Are they gonna gel well? That's the big thing. And if not, he won't touch them. He'll know what they're about as people already. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's a shame. He should tell Man United.
Oh yeah, imagine that, the biggest club in the world, and they don't do any of that kind of research. It's phenomenal.
Well, just quickly, I mean, obviously Anthony's a player that gets a lot of stick, but I mean, I was saying this on the morning show. He didn't set the £85 million price tag, and neither did Ten Hag. Ten Hag probably said, "I like this player," and he's probably worth about 50 million, which is probably a little bit too much.
50 mil? Would you pay 50 mil for Anthony?
That's the limit they should have paid.
Oh my God, I wouldn't pay anything for that guy. I wouldn't want to sign him because I think you can tell the sort of character he is, what he's made of. Do you know what I mean? I think you can tell what he's made of, and I wouldn't want that playing for my team.
Yeah, it's worrying. I think we'll leave it there. But look, we've left a lot for you to discuss. Will Ten Hag be here this time next year, Christmas? Will he be here this time next week? Hopefully. And I agree with Ben. I think it's about the character of the players, and how Manchester United recruit better. But there's a bit of positivity. Ben thinks that. I nearly called you Sir Ben.
Where was the positivity?
Sir David Brailsford.
Oh yeah, Brailsford. Yeah, I think he'll do a good job. I do. I think he'll do a good job.
Oh, look, there's so much. There's got to be some improvement.
He can't.
There has to be some improvement because there's so much to improve. Thanks everyone for watching this year. Have a great new year. Thanks to Ben. Happy New Year.
You too, my mate. Have a good one.
And we'll see you in 2024.
All the best, guys.